Alright everybody, welcome back to the Ernest P YouTube channel. We had a ton of interactions with the last video when we talked about Mechanic Steve, so I'm going to do another one of those. What's Mechanic Steve really doing? Just to kind of illustrate or put words to what you see him doing. You know, I'm a young mechanic, so I might not know everything. If there's something I don't know, we'll discuss it in the comments down below. But what I do know, it's fun to share with everybody else just to get that idea of what he's doing, because you know, there's just the music in his videos. So thanks everybody a ton for all the interactions on the last video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Leave comments down below. I'll try and answer all of your questions or react to all of your comments or anything like that. But we'll get right into this video with a few clips from Mechanic Steve, and we'll just talk about him, see what he's doing. So let's go. Okay. So here, it looks like they're taking apart a torque converter. So a torque converter uses fluid dynamics to transfer the energy from the motor to the transmission. That way, in an automatic vehicle that's not, you know, manual, you can sit there with your foot on the brake and the car won't die. Whereas you might know you can't do that in a manual. So this allows the motor to keep spinning, and then once you get it up to a certain RPM, it engages, or the fluids actually move that torque converter, and it'll transfer that power to the transmission. So looks like here they've just taken that one apart and are redoing the bearings in it, as far as I can tell. Yeah, in the rain, so probably got a little bit of water in there, but no big deal. Okay, here he's got a big old thing of water. Gonna take a little sip. Must be thirsty. Okay, that's what I thought he might be doing with it, just using that to fill up the truck. So looks like he's trying to shake it to get like a, you know, a tornado in the middle. But it's a big heavy drum. It's probably hard to get the water moving that fast. So yeah, they're just filling up the radiator with water. I'm surprised they're using brand new thing of water like that. Okay, so that's a torque wrench, and it looks like they are just putting on a head on the motor. The head's the top part of the motor, and it's pretty specific how you have to put those on and with how much pressure, so it looks like they're just doing that. Looks like it might have broke there, or he just pulled real hard and lost the socket or the extension. Let's see. Well, the way he looked at it, looks like he might have broke it, so. Good old Mechanic Steve. Alright, let's get on to the next videos. Yeah, Mechanic Steve's an awesome guy. Here we go in this next clip. Looks like he might be listening. See there, he's giving it throttle with his hand. He's making the engine rev up. It looks like he was listening to an injector to see if it was working. On the last video, I think I was confused as to why he was grabbing his buddy's hand, and I think we came up, I think we came to agree that he was probably telling him to rev the engine up. Just didn't expect him to be doing it like that. I figured he would just be doing a signal and his buddy would be sitting in the cab if there wasn't a way for him to do it up at the motor. But there he was obviously just doing it with his hand, you could see. So we'll get on to this next clip. Here he's got a really long torque wrench. It's kind of like that one in the earlier clip. Only this one clicks rather than have that little extra wire that tells you what torque you're at. So this one will actually click, and it's quite a bit bigger. But again, those heads need a lot of torque, especially on a diesel. Okay, here looks like a differential again, and you know, they've got a pipe on the end of this wrench, but just a lot of pressure they've got to put on these, and they're so big for these heavy trucks. The disc that you would get out of one in a normal size pickup truck's about that big to that big, so that gives you an idea of how big that is. Okay, he's probably pulling an injector out here using a big old bolt. Yeah, so that's an injector. So he screwed that onto the injector, and he's using that big old socket as a slide hammer to pop that injector out, because they're in there pretty hard. Okay, this looks like a transmission, and he's just filling it with new oil. So pretty cool to see the inside of that. It might be a transfer case. No. Yeah, it's probably the transmission. So yeah, just getting it all nice and full of oil. It's a pretty cool view. And they'll put that cover back on, and that's actually upside down like that. So Okay, let's pause it here because he might get going through this clip faster than I can talk about it. So here, this is the bottom of a motor. So again, the motor's flipped upside down, and where that head that we talked about a few clips ago would be is on the bottom. It's probably not on the motor right now, but that's the crankshaft that goes right down the middle of the motor block that you can see right there, and he's just tightening down that crankshaft, and the pistons will connect to that, so when it spins, they'll go up and down and turn that crankshaft. But it looks like he's got that torque wrench again with that wire gauge on it, and he's just torquing that crankshaft down right here. So let's see, maybe they'll give it a spin and you can see how it kind of works. It's offset, so when those pistons go around, when it goes around, those pistons go up and down, but they may not spin it around. Yeah, there they go. Cool. So you can see how there's lobes and they're offset. Here, there's a good view of it as well, with the pistons on it, and it looks like he's torquing those down. He's torquing those connecting rods down on that crankshaft while it's out. He might be doing that for clearances to see if that crankshaft's okay or if those rods are okay. Let me pause it to see if they have enough space for the oil to get in there. A fun fact, the oil on a microscopic level is in globules, is what it's called, and the correct clearance for most motors is 3 globules of oil in between the surfaces. So depending on how heavy the oil in your car is, like a diesel motor obviously has really thick oil, and newer cars have really light oil, and that's what the numbers stand for. Like 0W20 is a really light oil, and a diesel is going to have like 15W40. So the higher the number, the heavier the oil. So again, I was talking about those connecting rods, how they connect. They have to have a certain amount of space in between where they touch. It's usually pretty tight, but regardless, that space is going to differ depending on what kind of oil they use. And the fun fact is you want to have 3 globules of oil in between those surfaces on both sides. So, okay, here I've seen this clip before, and I'll point out something that's kind of funny about it, in my opinion. So he's pulling the oil plug out of this motor, so he's draining the oil out. But let me pause it right here. It's funny because he does a really good job of pulling that plug. Sometimes you think you've got it all the way undone, and you pull and you don't, and then you go to twist it and the oil gets all over your hand. And sometimes you can tell when it just comes loose, and then you can pull your hand out of the way real fast and all that oil comes out. It's funny because he did a really good job at getting that oil plug out, but then I think he realized, hey, my hand's not that dirty, so he sticks his hand in the oil. You could do that for a number of reasons, like, to feel the texture of the oil, to see if there's anything in it that shouldn't be in there, like water, although you could do that visually. He might just be feeling, the oil for whatever his purposes are, but I think he probably just stuck his hand in there to get it dirty. So that's pretty funny. We'll watch this clip. Yeah, so see there, he could be feeling for metal particles or something, but it's pretty funny. Because you can also, I'll pause it just real quick, you can also look at the filter to see if there's any metal in it. You don't necessarily have to put your hands in it. Either way, Mechanic Steve's a cool guy. Even if he was doing that just for show, I think he's an awesome guy. So, okay, it's a big old filter right there. Yeah, he's just making sure they're the same size filters. And hopefully we'll see him install this one and not just look at it, but it's a pretty big filter. I just had a string on it. Yeah, so they didn't install it there, but let's see. Yeah, wholesome clip there, just getting paid. It's good to see your hard work pay off. So him and his friends, they seem like really nice guys. So here's the last video we'll do. I don't want this video to get super long, just enough to keep it entertaining, and I'll do the rest. I'll do all of his videos and just kind of explain what he's doing. So we'll get into this right here. So here we go. Right off the bat, it looks like a transfer case right there that he's pulling out. So that's where the axle would go in on that back side there. And transfer the power of the motor down to the tires. So looks like they're just taking it apart. Again, here, let me just pause it real quick. If I say anything wrong, like I said, I don't know everything, so feel free to correct me in the comments. We'll have a discussion about it. You know, my word isn't everything, but you know, it's what I think is probably going on here. So we'll go play real quick. Here, this is a flywheel. That's what pinches the clutch up against the motor. So in a manual car, we talked about the torque converter earlier. This is the difference between a manual and an automatic. So this is manual. That big plate there will squish the clutch up against the motor so that when it's disengaged, you know, you can sit there with the motor running and not shut off the car. And then when you want to go, it pinches that and it connects the two. It connects the transmission and the wheels to the motor. So, and that's a big clutch plate. So obviously coming out of one of those big trucks you see behind him. Okay, here again we've got a transmission that they're filling with oil. So cool to see that again. It's upside down again. Yeah, I think it's upside down. I mean, some transmissions do have a case on the top you can open up, but it's probably upside down, being that it's that big. That's probably the oil pan for the transmission, but I could be wrong. Either way, it's cool to see the inside of that transmission when they spin it around and just getting that oil, a nice clean oil in there. So it looks like it could be coolant. Some newer coolants are red or pink like that. We will see. Can't imagine him putting anything else with a hose like that in there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with coolant. They're just in one of those newer red coolants. So filling that car up. It's gonna blow on it to get it all in there. Okay, these look like the big bearings out of a big old transmission that go in between the gears. It looks like he's just cleaning it up, probably with diesel or gasoline, because they're good solvents. And they don't have all the regulations like we do here on how they can use those materials. So, but yeah, those are just big bearings from the transmission, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's grease. It has a weird smell to it. That's probably why he was joking around about that, but he's going to grease those bearings up before he puts them back in. Since he got everything out, all the old grease out and cleaned up, it's called packing them with grease. Oh, they might actually be from those wheels you see behind him as well. So, you know, actually, this would be good if somebody wants to leave in the comments. I believe those are still considered needle bearings when they're in a long shape like that, or maybe roller bearings. I think they're called needle bearings. They might be referred to as both. But if somebody knows if that's a needle or a roller bearing or whatever, you can put that in the comments. But they are bearings, and the way that tire was taken apart behind us, I'm assuming that's where they came out of. So here he's checking that oil again. And I want to see at the beginning of this one if he keeps his hand in the way, or sometimes you're trying to get it out and you get covered in oil either way. So let's see. Yeah, so see there, it just broke loose before he got his hand out of the way. You can almost see all the way through the oil though, so it looks pretty clean. Or that might be light reflecting off of it actually. Yeah, it's probably light reflecting off of it. It's probably still fine oil, just at its change interval, but diesel oils are usually a lot darker. So that's it, everybody. If you have any comments, anything you want to say, leave it in the comments down below. And I'll try and respond to all of them. Thanks again for all the support that we've been having in these. This is the second video, so I'll keep them updated. When I do another video, I'll link it up here in the description. If you've watched all the way through this one, it's probably going to be up here. Then just click the link up here for the next video, and I'll link it whenever I do that one. So this is number 2. Once number 3 comes out, we'll put it up here. And periodically throughout the video, I might put some other videos up here at the top that, well, they'd be up here, that you might be interested in. But thanks again, everybody. This is your NSP YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If it doesn't matter to you, if it doesn't mean anything, you don't mind having an extra subscription somewhere, because it's free. Go ahead and subscribe now and like the video if you want to. If you're stingy and you just like to have a few things you're subscribed to, then that's perfectly fine. You don't have to subscribe. But if you don't mind, please subscribe. Give it a big thumbs up. Thanks again. Thanks a million, everybody. Have a good one. Peace out.